Marky Worthington Podcast all day.
All day.
Dream by night.
Don't buy me a drink. Just give me $10.
Oh, dude, you look sweet. Yeah, you got a big beard, dude.
Go down to the strip club with your floppy disk and turn it into a hard drive.
Yeah, right. Thrown out by Big Tony.
We're here to name names and make people feel more ashamed for shit that they're not proud of.
Me and my best friend, Marky Worthington.
Whatever it is.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Marky Worthington Comedy Podcast. Although this is not strictly a comedy podcast, although there is some funny in today's selection, because I'm joined here all the way from Canada. Joining us on the show today, it is Nathan from OK Video Podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I was worried about a comedy podcast because I'm not a jokesman exactly, but I can talk about other funny people that were in movies and hopefully convey some of that. Although this movie's not typically funny, but we'll do what we can. It's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's partially why I added it to the selection today, because it is left of field. Now, this is an evergreen episode. We're recording this soon after Halloween for a later release. A little bit behind the curtain. Got to keep one in the can just in case we can toggle with time a little bit. But the reason that I have Nathan here on the show is because once upon a time, I was scrolling through Instagram, and I'm such a John Candy fan that I actually follow the hashtag John Candy on Instagram.
This is how.
Yeah, so I was following that hashtag, and it's brought me a bunch of cool stuff. Like I stumbled on the on one of his books, Searching for Candy, which was like a full biography on I think. His whole life, like it, and it was how I came across that. So it's gotten me a whole bunch of good films that I never noticed, docos, books, all sorts of stuff just by following that hashtag. But unbeknownst to me, there was also another thing that it will get me, which is stumbling across the OK Video Podcast. Now, you did a full section on John Candy. I think it was 12 of his movies, something like that.
I think we kept adding more as we got interested in more. We kind of were trying to keep it to movies where he was the star or at least a real featured player. So we did not get this far back in the catalog, but we included Spaceballs and stuff like that because we figured, he was in a big Mel Brooks movie. That's still pretty important. But yeah, I guess the way we structured our show was in seasons or batches of videotapes was the kind of mentality. So we would choose a subject, and John Candy is kind of a legend around here in Canada. So it's nice to know he has international appeal, though. Like, you were already a fan, obviously, prior. So, what was the first? Was it Rescuers Down Under? Was it because his bird Wilbur flew down there and helped Cody escape?
Do you know what? I stumbled on that being a John Candy I guess part of his resume accidentally. So I collect VHS and I bought a bulk lot of VHS, and it had Rescuers in it. And naturally I was like, well, what else is in this series? Because I like to get complete series, or at least the movies from a series, that like 2 or 3 from a series. I'll sometimes group series of VHS by the lead, so I'll have 3 Nicolas Cage movies. My only rule for my VHS collection is it needs to be pre-2000. So
sure, yeah, that's when the kind of DVD was the main thing, and it kind of lost its novelty. Yeah.
I did make one exception because I wanted to finish the Star Wars series. I needed to get all 6 of the movies on VHS, and the 3rd movie came out in 2006.
Oh wow!
And it was the last ever production run movie on VHS. Was the 3rd Star Wars movie, and I picked that one up for around, it cost me at the time 200 Australian dollars, because it was such a limited run, because everyone would have just bought it on DVD, right? No one wants a new sci-fi movie on an old platform.
Yeah. As kind of a Laserdisc fan, it's a similar thing where there's kind of late 99 is the end of that format's availability. So there's still some intriguing late years ones that are way more expensive. Like The Matrix, I think. It's one of the most coveted discs, but yeah.
It's Laserdisc wasn't as popular here in Australia. It still does exist, and there's definitely some fans of it. But so back to Rescuers. I got Rescuers Down Under just to coincide the other Rescuers movie I had. And also it was the Down Under version's like a big box clamshell version. So I was like, cool. And I just had it on in the background one day, and I was like, fuck, that sounds like John Candy. And I like looked it up, and it actually was. I'm like, wow, I just completely stumbled on like another movie that's now in my John Candy collection.
Okay. I'm just thinking for myself personally, that would have been a very early one as a kid, or Rookie of the Year. It's like a baseball movie where he's just like broadcasting, and I don't even think he's credited fully or whatever, but he was just present in that. So I didn't see like his really great stuff until later. Well, so to answer the actual initial question, the way that I stumbled on John Candy is the weirdest roundabout way. So my older cousin plays drums, and I was at his place one time, and he was playing the drum beat for Wild Thing from the Uncle Buck movie. Oh, okay.
The Phil. And from the school scene, the like
okay. I do know what you're saying now. That was not my like preferred of the John Hughes, John Candy ones. So Ryan would be really excited right now if he was on the show.
Nice.
My OK Video castmate.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's a really cool beat. And he goes, oh yeah, I was watching Uncle Buck and it was in my head. And I was like, what's Uncle Buck? And he showed me, well, he told me, and then I later found the movie. Because I was so young, like I don't think that I don't think it would have been like an approved movie to watch, just because there was like a couple of like adult sort of themes to it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like so young at the time. But yeah, I watched that. I was probably like maybe 7 years old. Yeah. Okay. So I watched that and then worked backwards. And then like, when I was a little older, my old man was like, oh, do you like John Candy? Well, I've got like a bunch of movies. We watched Spaceballs and like all this stuff. And I finally worked out what Dad meant whenever he was quoting like, oh, I see your Swartz is as big as mine. Like, what the fuck? I never knew. I thought it was just a weird thing my dad would say. I didn't know it was a movie quote. So yeah, well, that was his version of like, that's not a knife. Yeah. So,
we're finally getting that sequel, Spaceballs 2.
Yeah.
The Search for More Money should be the subtitle if they're in canon with the film, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know how they'll allude to like barf in that. There's got to be a statue or something of one of the heroes or whatever.
It has to be.
We'll see what they do. But yeah, so John Candy's the subject, but what's the movie? Do we want to reveal it?
That's awesome. So yeah, that's how I came across your movie podcast, and it's also how I found out that you guys did a bunch of episodes on John Candy, and I happened to, as part of my VHS collection, the first ever movie that I bought, which got me into my VHS collection, happened to be this movie, and it's on Betamax. The Clown Murders.
Oh, okay.
John Candy's Clown Murders on Betamax was my first ever movie that I bought on VHS as an adult, to start my collection.
Wow, so, he is prominently featured on the box there. Yeah.
So
there's Ollie.
Yeah, there's Ollie from 1977. Or 77? Yeah,
76, I think, is 76. When it came out here on tape in Canada.
That's right. 76, 17th of September 76 was Canada, but it didn't get released in the US till 77.
Yeah,
October 77. It was a Halloween film.
Enjoyed renewed interest later when he was a bigger deal, obviously, but weird movie. Which not is what I was expecting.
Well, which is the version that I'd sent to you, which was from VHS, which was re-released in '88, which is this version.
Okay, yeah, I did see the copyright at the end there.
Yeah, so that's the version on VHS that I have as well, because my Betamax player is very worn and not quite ready to actually, when I play that, the belts are so worn in my Betamax player that it plays like too slow. So yeah, it's just like physical hardware limitation.
It's allegedly slightly better resolution though, right? You get a little bit of a picture boost.
Yeah, and like audio as well, just being a bit thicker. Apparently the audio is better as well. Sony always took more pride in their sound quality, I think. But yeah, that's our movie for review today. Let's start with your initial thoughts. What's your look? I know that it was ripped from VHS, and sometimes the colors like were off.
Yeah,
like
once you get past like the novelty of like the color separation and that missing gap in the credits or whatever that happened, I started to get caught up in the story, but not the way I was gearing up for, because it sounds like a slasher movie. Like it's like, oh, okay, there's gonna be a guy in a clown mask stabbing people for 90 minutes or whatever. Hopefully we can talk about that for a while, because that's pretty straightforward, you know. But this had more of like this is like a crime film. Like this is like a drama almost, with like more developed older characters, like in their 30s and having weird insecurities and like, you know, getting in their own heads about stuff and just kind of having a panic attack and making bad crime decisions. There is a clown murders somebody eventually, but it's according to my account, it was like 85 minutes into the movie. It was the first time a clown successfully ends a person's life. So, you know, you're gonna have a bit of a different set than you maybe anticipated. But I was thrilled by that a little bit, because it's like, oh, this is kind of before the slasher formula had just been cemented as like, this is what you're gonna do to do this. You're gonna have a bunch of teens in the woods and somebody's gonna kill them or whatever. This didn't have that set in stone yet. It's like post Black Christmas, pre-Halloween, like they can kind of figure it out. So I was intrigued by just, you know, oh, there's like some class division stuff. We got these snooty polo players here, and you got Tom killing chickens and just frowning at them. Weird moments that I was not ready for in this movie. So I was at least pleased I wasn't like bored, because I've seen some pretty bad Canadian horror films before, but they typically are later once the formula has been established, and they just don't have Tom Savini or whatever, so they don't have the gore. And this isn't that. So according to IMDb, Quentin Tarantino says this is a good movie. I can concur, I guess. Like, you know, if you like weird movies, this has some of that. So, and Ollie's in it. Like, they're not lying to you. Like, he's after the title. Like, he's not one of the first three names, but John Candy is present. He gets a bunch of screen time and does stuff I've never seen him do in a movie. So, you know, that was interesting.
That's why it's probably one of my. It falls into my list of underrated movies, like not just underrated John Candy, but underrated movies, because I don't, like you said, I don't think there's much else that John Candy, like there's a lot of things in this movie that John Candy doesn't do in movies normally. Like he's not traditionally a horror guy. He does still have that comedy element to him. You can tell that he's still got his comedy chops from, because it's around the same time as SCTV was in early production. Yeah. So he does have that early persona, I guess. But
like even his first line is kind of like clapping at Polo, and it's like, what are we doing? Why are we clapping
that is the first line, and it's, you can see that. I actually have that in my notes here. Like you can see that like young 26-year-old John Candy still has his humor, asking, why are we cheering? And that was like probably the most traditional, like what later became John Candy. That's the most we can see that character, is the opening scene, and then not so much after that. Like,
I mean, he gets to be a bit of a kind of know-it-all, like with the way the poker game's playing out. He's kind of studied these guys long enough to call when this guy's going to crash out and when his wife's going to come over and tell him to leave the game and whatever.
Yeah.
Like I've seen something of that character before too. But yeah, like his kind of
is sort of that character, the cynical, like
Yeah.
I've been there and done that sort of vibe.
I mean, I'm also just coming off watching that Amazon documentary. I thought maybe that would have been a big primer for why John Candy's in the news again right now. So I didn't want to be out of step with that. That was way more like sad about his death.
Wild.
I was ready for
it. Yeah. Like, so I just watched that as well. I figured it may come up in this. I've been meaning to watch it since it was released, but I prioritized it before this podcast because I figured that like it would give us a different insight potentially. Sure. So that's cool.
I mean, I was kind of turning to that movie hoping it would chronicle this early chapter of his career, but the first movie they talk about in John Candy, I Like Me, is 1941. Like they kind of skip these 5 years there, yeah. Where, you know, I guess it's like who Colin Hanks is directing this, Ryan Reynolds is producing it. We want people to watch this. People don't know this part, and a couple hundred people have rated Clown Murders. You know, like maybe somebody got asked about that at some point, but that's too niche, I suppose. So we're here to at least look at one of these movies from this little period here. And yeah, I don't know. It was a very thoughtfully written movie, which I wasn't ready for. And the characters had like distinct little hangups and like beefs between each other. Like these core characters that commit a crime together kind of have things they hate about each other. So at some point I was like, I can't believe this movie is like a bunch of 35-year-olds like fighting, like just arguing and sniping at each other. And then Ollie's kind of just the guy that ordered the clown costumes and thought it was a gag and kind of just ends up being in the mix of it and is leveraged in weird ways to like still stir up jealousies in people. And I don't know. It's
kind of funny. Like back to what you're saying before, it should like a more fitting title could probably be like The Clown Murders Eventually.
Or I don't know. I'm not like, because it's mostly about real estate. Like it's kind of about this like, oh, we got to screw up this rich guy's real estate deal, and for some reason Allison is the only person who can sign this deal because something's in her name, I guess. So they need her on Halloween night to autograph this contract. And as bad ideas do, like you kind of like after the poker game we alluded to, the 4 guys are just sitting around kind of shooting the shit. And the most sinister character of theirs, Rosie, kind of just like, I'm just saying, what if we kidnapped her? It'd be pretty funny, right? Like it would be like an old caper back like we used to do. Like remember when we put the foxes in the clubhouse or whatever? It's like, that classic gag these characters did.
So some of it did show its age, like the really dated conversation about like how are the women overseas after the polo game was kind of weird at the start.
Right. I've been reading old James Bond books, so like I'm in that headspace, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Register is crazy outdated, but you're right. Absolutely.
But there was some cool things that were like a mark of the era, like there's like the Datsun like 240Z or whatever it is, the like sports car at this that's like the main connection between scenes is like that car going from one area to the next and like a following shot of the car. Like it's kind of the first
is that
few
Charlie's
scenes,
car, like he's essentially one of our main guys. Sure. And like there's this bit where he just does like a full U-turn on the grass. I don't know what you guys call a U-turn. We call it a Yui. I've heard people call it whipping a shitty. I don't. That's allegedly my city's fault. Like that's a Calgary, Alberta thing or something. I was not going around saying that. But apparently that's the Alberta character.
Hell yeah.
Is prone to that. So
I was in Pittsburgh for the July 4th weekend, just been, and I was in an Uber and a guy said, "Oh, you see that? That's called a Pittsburgh hook turn." So
okay.
It's basically we just cut off 3 lines of traffic so you can turn right.
But yeah, he does it to kind of startle a friend of theirs, and then
that's right. Yeah. Just and then another thing that like you messaged me about some Australian films, and there's just I'll just give you a quick like we can get into that after we do this breakdown, but there is one little piece in here that I wanted to tie these two films together. So the scene you mentioned about like the killing of the chickens, right?
Yeah.
Like there's pretty much no doubt in my mind that in 1976 they were actually killing chickens instead of like using effects.
It looked way too real to me. Like after one, like the second one was thrown, I was just like, I think they're just killing chickens, and like it's like, well, it's a working farm, like this is fine ethically or whatever. Like, or those weren't qualms anyone had because Sam Peckinpah is killing horses over there. Like, who cares?
Sure.
But yeah.
So that was my pick up from this, and the only reason that I was like more aware of like things like that in older movies is because you mentioned Wake in Fright. Now it's a known thing that the kangaroos killed in that movie were actually killed in real life. So there's a hunting scene in Wake in Fright where they go out like drunk and start shooting kangaroos from the back of a ute, and that's actually them killing kangaroos.
Ew.
So it's one of the scenes that I don't think they put in the remake of that movie. But yeah, that's something that I'm aware of after watching that Australian film.
Okay. Is this alluded to as or called Outback in our neck of the woods here?
Oh, maybe it's called something else. Yeah,
I'm just looking at it now. But so I see Donald Pleasance is in it. And okay.
The original title was Wake in Fright. So yeah, that's
okay.
After knowing about like that being a thing that
movies were comfortable doing.
Yeah. And to be fair, I have a lot less problem with the chickens because it's like you said, it's a working farm. It probably wouldn't have gone to waste, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. That Tom character struck me as like, well, he can't be the killer, right? Like he's too obviously incredibly sinister. Like he's too angry at all these guys.
Yeah.
And violent in evident ways. So if it's him, that would just be silly. So I guess in that movie math way, I was starting to think like, well, there's this Harrison guy. I don't know about this guy. Because he seems to fit much the same, like have the same bitterness about like, yeah, they don't care about us. They're shutting this down, you know. I was like, okay, well, this guy could be a problem as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of, I'm really bad at playing whodunit, like who's gonna do it. I always get it wrong, or I'll like call out a character and then they're killed in the next scene. It's like I should just stop doing this. Like I'm not tuned into this screenplay. Or I have a bad eye for faces, so it's like, yeah, that's a famous person. Like, of course he's gonna come back later. Like that's just how Hollywood is.
Yeah.
But in this, I was mostly right, but then you also, a bunch of crimes are committed by just the core people because they start unraveling in this weird way. So Rosie specifically was like, oh, this guy's really violent. Like this guy's dangerous.
Sure. Yeah. This, which is, I mean, at the time it may not have been such an obvious thing because I'm watching this with the knowledge of watching movies for like my whole life. Whereas in 76, not as many crime sort of horror thriller movies had, you know, been flushed through everyone's brains and set their standards of, you know, the classic misdirections and such. So it's a bit hard to watch it with the goggles of like someone watching it in the time it came out.
Yeah, I guess so. Like I'm not sure how engaging it would be to most. Like it was almost how it was changed. It was like not fitting the type of movie I was expecting was what was so interesting about it. But your mileage may vary. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know? Like I don't know if this John Candy documentary plus, you know, alluding to like maybe it'll have a big moment right now, like the clown murders will get to come back.
Well, there is some like there's some excitement to things that are not available. Like the reason that I gave you a VHS version of this is because it's not available on any streaming platforms at all. Like it's not even on like the obscure ones. It just doesn't exist at the moment online. So one thing that I got a couple, you've pretty much nailed most of the notes that I had as well. So that's cool. I've got one thing that I'm not sure if you may have mentioned, noticed throughout it, but just this continual, like it's nearly like a joke how much this happens. Like in Team America, there's just that underlying backing track that they'll like slow down or speed up, like like in the movie Team America, where they just ironically will put in the same song throughout. Even the sex scene in the movie is just it slowed down, like the intro track.
So is it the music in this movie or the audio?
Yeah. Okay. So that's what it seemed to me to be. That there's this like creepy clown backing track that's like that fucking circus music that's just continually throughout every scene.
No, it's actually like the first thing that clues you into the title at all, or it's just like, oh well, there's crazy clown music playing, so I guess there'll be clowns later, because like you don't get any clown costumes until 24 minutes in, but you've heard this clown song a few times when just a man is driving around. Like Charlie's just in his car and that's what's underscoring it. So I don't know. It was an interesting choice. It clued you in that you did click on the right movie, I guess.
It's like if like people got like Insane Clown Posse and just put normal rap beats underneath, you just wouldn't get the vibe of the
horror core would not really come through. So yeah, this movie tells you it's going to get weird and murderous later, but so invested in their logistics about this real estate situation, and I kind of admired it for that. It was like, no, there's these bitter friends that don't want this guy to succeed. There's this like angry like farmhand throwing chickens at the realtor and like freaking him out. There's all these pieces set up, and then you just kind of wait for it to go somewhere, and then there's the night where they finally hatch the scheme. And I really enjoyed that Rosie kept calling it a caper. Like that's just a word I don't hear movies themselves say. We're just like, this is a caper. We're on a caper right now. Like it's a cute word. Like,
it's kind of a common thing in Australia, but it's more so when something isn't like when you're acting up. It's just like, all right, like you like say you're like at a bar or something, and you're like getting a little rowdy. It would be common for an older dude to be like, "Oh, like stop with that caper," like
okay.
That would be like how it would work down here. But one thing I wanted to point out is for a 70s horror movie, the lack of smoking.
I guess I've been seeing a lot of smoking in media recently, but yeah, I guess nobody's really, that's not a habit anybody has.
Even the poker scene, like you would expect that would be just a smoke-filled room. Like that would be the setting for that.
But no, they're pretty focused on their cards and maybe drinks. But
yeah, it's just not the traditional like poker scene you'd be used to, right?
I like to imagine that somehow Canada saying don't, if you can avoid it like a little earlier, then
that's good. Yeah, ahead of the curve. It's also was
Surgeon General's warnings and things were probably already a thing, so I'd have to look into that though. I wasn't alive in '76, so I'd just be guessing.
Yeah, well, they were definitely all across the like overeating humor with John Candy too. I think the poker scene where he's just eating a salad sandwich is like the beginning of a series of beratement of his weight.
Yeah, no, that was that. I'm glad I watched the documentary for, because they point out how in Stripes, like his character admitting that he eats a lot was kind of this unfortunate thing that other castmates kind of look back on, or like the mud wrestling scene in that movie as being kind of shameful.
Yeah,
this movie has a character get after John Candy a lot for just like, have you found some donuts somehow, huh? It's like, I don't know. Yeah, there's just a box of them in this room. Like, just, like, there's kind of little moments he has. But yeah, there's the scene where the criminal scheme is being hatched and he's just enjoying a sandwich. And then they even have like a closer shot of him just eating the sandwich in like weird light. I was like, this is pretty good footage, John Candy eating a sandwich. Like, this is all right. But I think if there's a difference at all, like thematically, he gets to like get after the guy that gave him a lot of shit about eating at the end of the movie. So I was like, oh, okay, comes around. Like, that's kind of Ollie's insecurity, much like each of these other guys has this thing like, why wasn't I good enough for Allison or whatever? Or I don't want to lose my job. I thought this was just a joke or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Different guys have different hangups about how the night is going. But yeah, Ollie's is getting chewed out a lot about his weight, and I guess his ability to score seemed to be another thing Rosie was really badgering him about. So I don't know. It too obscure of a point of reference, I guess. It's not the big hit movie Stripes, so they're not going to like. This was actually already bothering him because it had been happening since one of his very first movies or something. Like, maybe
just already typecast in '76. Back to just the comment about the doco, like it would be tough, like if this is your first movie that you're kind of trying to get into the scene and you're already like known as the guy that's made fun of for being the fat guy, right? Like,
yeah, no, it was a little like, oh wow, this is already, he doesn't get to live this down. Like, that made SCTV sound like a fun creative space for him to just play various characters and that not be an issue.
Yeah,
I was happy to hear that there was like just good outlets for him where he was having a good time. But yeah, that was a downbeat movie. Like, between the two movies, like Clown Murders and John Candy I Like Me, John Candy I Like Me made me sadder. I was more upset by what happened.
Yeah, I had to do it in two parts because I work nights, and I'm like, I don't want to be going into a night shift with just like this whole movie behind me, because it would have literally, I did the math. I'm like, if I finish this movie, I'm literally going to finish this movie, get in my car and go to work.
Right.
The documentary, sorry, the I Like Me. I was just like, I need like a good hour buffer before I deal with people after watching this first half of this doco.
Yeah, like I feel like his library of movies is kind of just the joyous part that you get to just enjoy. Even some of the bad ones, like I really like Who's Harry Crumb. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
So just like I guess his work speaks for itself, and then this is kind of this eulogy or something is in this documentary, which like I was happy to hear from like his family reflecting on him, and there was a lot of big moments in there. Dan Aykroyd gets a lot of thoughts, and Dave Thomas gets a good moment and everything. But yeah, I don't know. I really just, with comedians, I like seeing the highlight reel, I guess, of their greatest triumphs or something. And that wasn't really the focus exactly. It's like, no, we're not going to play that bit in Summer Rental that was like, where he's in the boat race with Rip Torn or whatever. That doesn't fit the vibe. So we're not going to do that. But getting Mel Brooks to talk about him, that was kind of nice. Anyway, sorry. Between the two movies.
It was. We are between the two, but I think like, although this is an evergreen episode, I think that like the time frame of me doing this this breakdown of this movie, and it'd be like, it would seem careless to not mention the recent doco because it does really tie in well, being this early in his career.
Just a lot of people are talking about him again for first time in a while. So
yeah. Talking of his movie persona and what you're used to, I am not sure. I'd like someone to correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure this is the only movie with a John Candy sex scene in it.
I did write that down. It's like, I've certainly never seen this. Like, I haven't seen Nothing But Trouble yet. I don't imagine that happens in that movie.
Yeah.
There's still a handful I haven't seen, but no, and it's a kind of important, weird moment. Like, Allison, the hostage victim, I guess, kind of is trusted with Ollie in this locked room, and then sort of seduces Ollie or they have sex, and it drives everybody crazy, like especially Rosie. I love what's the other guy's name? Like Phil or something.
Yeah, the dude that comes up the stairs that first discovers them having sex.
Character, yeah. I loved his reaction. It was really good.
So good. He just laughs. Like he's not even like,
but it's like a cosmic joke laugh. It's Philip is the character. Like he's just like, oh, this is so perfect. Like this is the ultimate thing that could happen. Like Rosie's gonna hate this, and I'm really mad with Rosie right now. So this is the perfect thing to poke with him. And he's just like, I was a little scared for him because Rosie seemed mentally unstable at the time, but he keeps ribbing him about it for minutes. Like he follows him into the house and is yelling him at the stairs. Like, oh, you need some coaching? I can give you some tips. Like he's just being awful, but so unhinged. Like if anything, it reminded me, like, again, this is a terrible mental link that has been created by IMDb, but like them saying, oh, Quentin Tarantino really liked this. I was like, oh, okay. So that bit in Inglourious Basterds when Christoph Waltz can't help but laugh his ass off right in the face of like Brad Pitt because he sees through their scheme is like how persistent and real that is. Like, is that from this or something? Like, I just like thinking about it.
I would honestly like to know whether there was any being one of his favorite movies. I want to see whether there was any scenes in this that influence scenes that people would know.
It's impossible to really know, or if someone's going to break it down, or if he knows that that's what he found so funny about Christoph losing it. But it was a moment that just struck me as like, oh, this actor's really acting. Like he's really laughing very genuinely in another character's face, and they're being kind of weird and intense with each other. So much more than I sat down in mind. You know, I was expecting Friday the 13th Part 1 kind of stuff, and it was like not fitting those rules. So
it was so good, dude. Like just in the fact that like that's the perfect way to like show up, like. Just like that Ollie just like eventually just has sex with Allison. Like and also it's fucking in some way it's so careless of Allison just being like, fuck it.
Yeah. Like what can I do? This is my home. Yeah, I don't know. She's an odd victim of kidnapping because there is the moment at the gas station where she doesn't speak up. And Charlie's kind of hung up on that, but then she says, oh, what, did you want me to? Like, there's just all these weird agendas people have. Like, Charlie's so burnt that she's married another man and maybe doesn't love him, or is it just because of the money or whatever? Like, these are like soap opera elements or something, but
sure,
they're given real time and scenes and things. And I was like, this movie cares about this stuff, so I'm gonna pay attention anyway. Like,
one side note, because people listening to this episode of like can't like just look up the movie and pick the scene. One thing that I thought was hilarious: switch positions, John Candy on top. Fucking not conventional at all. Like being a chubby guy myself, let me tell you, that's not a fucking thing that like if I was to do a sex in the movie, that would be my fucking rider. Like, all right, we do it, but I'm not on top because it's just not fucking logistically like something that's believable. Like it's just so funny. But also hearing about, just back to the doco about the mud wrestling scene,
right?
Like, do you notice in that scene, like it's a full sex scene, completely like fucking like undershirt, like not stripped down, anything? And I feel like maybe some of those insecurities later came from early on, like being clothed for that sex scene, you know?
It's such an odd scene. Like Ollie kind of just starts closing his eyes and writhing around, and then for the rest of the movie, he's just kind of shattered by that for some reason, or that he offended all these guys or something. Like he's just apologizing and stammering for the rest of the movie, which is certainly not his wheelhouse. You know, that's not film tasks he's usually tasked with. So, and he also gets to yell about having shot someone. Later, which was interesting. The nature of like kind of big man comedians and the insecurities and stuff. Like there was a Chris Farley documentary a couple years ago. Bob Odenkirk talked about kind of skits he felt bad being part of on SNL that kind of just would make Chris Farley a spectacle. Like to me, the mud wrestling scene in Stripes like is base level like that. It's just kind of the joke is he's big and he's mud wrestling. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay. Like this at least has a character, like crime story reason for why it happens, but I don't know. Like really any more insight into this movie, like there's like 2 blurbs on IMDb. Like there's not a lot to really puzzle out about it. So it's like reading the credits, checking other projects. Like I did notice John Candy was in another movie with Lawrence Dane, like the actor that played Philip. So I was like, okay, so they got on at some point, or maybe. Martin Burke, the director writer, I was surprised to see had stuff I was familiar with. Like Pirates of Silicon Valley is kind of legendary, like tech TV movie that my wife and I love. So yeah. He wrote and directed that, and co-wrote Animal Farm, like the TV adaptation that my school thought was great and let us watch. So, you know, it's the one in my mind when I think of like Kelsey Grammer is the villainous pig. That's just how it is for me. But yeah.
It's like, well, we watched The Birds in high school as like part of a English like sort of comprehension movie breakdown section at school. So to watch like the OG horror,
So like, was it contrasting it with the Daphne du Maurier story or something? Or
no, it was just basically a comprehension exercise we did where basically we all wrote movie reviews on it. To compare it for the class, but then we convinced our teacher to watch The Shining as well, and we did the same thing with that fucking movie. And we were like 16.
Cool. So, all right, like getting away with something. A little bit.
Yeah. But all in all, do you want to sum up your thoughts on the movie?
Well, I guess I'll just run through the last couple like beats that happen, just because Rosie freaks out. He's kind of their most unhinged character. There's also been a mysterious clown in the barn that attacked Charlie, but he jumped away and used a device that I was like, that's a solid horror movie thing. Like if I don't know if I've seen a hay bale with a pitchfork in it, like swing into a guy. Charlie dodges it though, and then no one is killed by it later. So it kind of would break later horror rules. But solid, scary farmer kind of thing. That solid idea. But yeah, Ollie and Allison have sex. Rosie runs up there to break in and act like he's going to attack her. She calls his bluff. He withers, and then the clown murders. Like the clown chokes out Rosie and then shoots Philip with a shotgun. So finally, a murder caused by a clown. And then is starting to attack Allison and gets stabbed in the hand. That's pretty big indicator for later. And then John Candy's character Ollie is like tasked with unplugging this cable from this electric fence, which is something we saw Tom do at the beginning of the movie. So we're meant to think Tom is the electrocutioner character here. Instead, he gets freaked out by somebody running out of the barn, shoots them. It turns out to be Rosie. So Ollie is committed murder as well, not as a clown. And then throws the shotgun against the electric fence. It shorts out. Charlie steps out. Then it's the next morning with the cops kind of deciding what to do and being confused by the scene. Like, it's just like, I don't know. Like, they're just kind of sitting there, but it's not good vibes. Like, there's something bad. Tom is there holding a bucket and you don't see bandages or anything, so you get that he's not the guy. And then the cops drive up. They are puzzling it out, I guess, and apprehend some of our characters because they've done bad things. There's another body over here, that kind of stuff. And then the killer's finally revealed. I thought the movie was going to have the stones not to even tell you. Like, just be like, no, dude. Like, you got to think who it was. Like, who was it?
Sure.
But then they have Harrison sport his bandage and really just tell you, yes, I was the murder clown. As we like go to the end where it kind of shows these fields and like encroaching apartment buildings. And I was like, oh, this is like about urban development run amok as well and destroying the countryside. What an interesting little moment. And then it's the end of the movie. So I guess summary, offbeat, genuinely weird little crime movie, which with some highlights, like just kind of like clowns in golf carts knocking out a millionaire and taking his wife and driving away. It's just like a weird thing. So I was kind of having a good time in that. Oh, this isn't mainstream. Like this isn't designed by a boardroom or a focus group. This is living and dying by its own rules. So that's interesting. So I had an interesting time, and it made me like earmark a few earlier Candy movies, because like I forget what there was one called like Wild and Crazy or something like that in like 80. I think that's the earliest one I had seen prior to this.
Right.
So, and I guess disallowing like early SCTV, which I'm pretty sure I've seen. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. There's this one actually opened up my eyes to a few other movies as well that I didn't necessarily have on my radar. So it got me into a few early ones. Prior to the doco, I didn't actually have 1441 on my list.
Oh, had you never seen that, like the Spielberg
no,
movie?
So I actually I think I have it on DVD, just in like a to have a goal of owning at least a physical media of most of John, if not all, John Candy movies.
Okay.
So I think I did buy it just to own it, but I haven't actually even opened it.
Okay.
It's one of those ones, like once I tend to buy stuff on physical media, it's like I'll keep that for like a rainy day or a Halloween or something, and I'm just sitting down watching movies and put it on. So I do own it. I just hadn't like watched it yet.
Okay.
So yeah, but a lot of those early ones, like I think maybe the 1980 movie that is it 80? I don't know. Anyway, the one I've got was Armed and Dangerous as well.
Yeah, I think that's 85. Like, yeah, we did that in the show. That's Eugene Levy and him.
That's right. Yeah,
an action comedy, I guess. It's one of many movies I've been like. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
like Rockstar Games saw this.
It's just my favorite scene in that movie is where he just busts out that 1940s Harley and just fucking takes off like down the freeway with it. But yeah, so my summary on the movie is like, if I'm honest with you, I actually recorded this and didn't watch it as I recorded it. I was waiting for time to watch this movie because it was like the pride of my collection. And part of the reason that I organized this podcast is to give me like a platform to talk about it, and also with someone that had similar interests in John Candy. So I actually didn't watch this movie for the first time this Halloween. So I've owned it since I started my collection years ago, and finally had a reason to watch it and break it down a bit. So my summary on it is, I enjoyed it. It was exactly like you were saying, completely left of field. I thought it was going to be a lot more slasher, but I think that if I watched it when I first got it, I wouldn't have appreciated it as much as now, because in the last like 5 or 6 years that I've been collecting, I've turned to enjoying drama crime movies more than I did before. Like when I first started my collection, I really just liked like action horror, but I think that I'm growing more of an appreciation for like more like crime thriller type movies, and this kind of ticked all the boxes, plus it had John Candy. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Oh man, I gotta look this up now. Like there was a movie I watched relatively recently with like Simon Pegg and David Schwimmer. It was like a murder mishap kind of movie as well.
Yeah.
Let me just see.
A movie that I watched recently was Glengarry Glen Ross. We're talking about real estate. It's like it just reminded me of that, like that crime element as well.
Oh, okay, great. Big Nothing is the name of the movie.
Okay. It's not on my radar.
No, but it's like these movies that like I don't want to invoke something of like a high caliber, like a Coen Brothers movie or something.
Sure,
These in a huge shadow. That's like no, but like adjacent to that, like somebody who liked like Blood Simple made a movie with David Schwimmer and one of the guys from like the Coen Brothers casts or whatever. Like,
sure,
it's not as aces as some of the best examples of its genre or something like that, but it's still like interesting that it's slotted into this weird subgenre. I also really like inept criminal stories just in general, like just kind of first time crime. Don't have it figured out, like stuff. Wes Anderson's Bottle Rocket or whatever, with their little bags at the beginning with the heist or whatever, and just not being prepared. Stuff like that is amusing. This has like a darker undercurrent for some of these characters where you're just like, oh, this wasn't a caper ever, really. This is too much emotional baggage in this for too many of these people. Like, we're not really having a laugh the way a Coen Brothers movie can find a dark laugh. This is more bizarre. But I like some bizarre. And yeah, there's a bunch of clowns. Like they order 30 clown costumes and then a party shows up all in clown suits. And it's weird. So it's got that for going for it. Distinctive oddness, I suppose. So yeah. Glengarry, that's way more real estate, really. If you want real estate salesman, the movie. That to me is like the Jack Lemmoniest movie ever. Like he's the guy for me in that. Like Shelley or whatever. Just a portrait of desperation. It's amazing.
I love salesman movie. I watched Tin Man with Danny DeVito.
I recently watched that as well.
I like, and Cadillac Man with Robin Williams.
That's been on my to watch list for years and years.
Oh, dude, have you seen another? Speaking of underrated Robin Williams movies or underpublicized, because he had so many big movies. It's just like there's these other weird ones that I found, like Toys. Have you seen that?
That's on my list as well as a thing to take a look at, because it's got an odd reputation now.
It's
to not be totally like Danny DeVito and him collaborated on Death to Smoochie, which has become something I just really like. I never didn't like it. I finally just watched it, and it's like, no, it's a dark comedy kind of vibe. It totally works. But Toys. What is this director? I kind of wrote him off for a long time. Levinson, isn't it? Barry Levinson?
I don't remember. Yeah.
Barry Levinson's catalog is something I've kind of not investigated thoroughly. So, I kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole. Like I watched the Robin Williams documentary I think last year, and that mentions a few of his older, lesser known movies in there. I just kind of sat there with like IMDb open, just adding stuff to my list as I watched the doco. And Toys came up. Seize the Day as well was another one that was in that doco, which I hadn't heard of. Very like it's kind of like if he worked at like a Best Buy sort of vibe. He's just a salesman sort of thing. But yeah, I love underrated or underpublished sort of hidden gems, which is why I came across Clown Murders and a bunch of other movies. Yeah, I don't know that I could quite say like, oh, it's John Candy playing against type or whatever, but he's just in an odd situation compared to a lot of the stuff that he's in later. Like higher stakes, darker undertones and things for most of his material. So
I think it matches maybe his style for the time, because in that doco it mentions that in some of the early SCTV skits he would just sit in the back and just kind of add a riff here or there.
Right. Like the kind of wallflower aspect. I thought you were going to say like the more sinister stuff, because I just saw like Leave It to Beaver with a pistol or whatever, or like the Yellow Belly sketch where he just shoots two people. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
like maybe it was more fitting for his style when that movie was out, because he was more of like a in the background, add a few lines here or there, and not as much of a frontman that you like.
No, just kind of an
love.
odd character actor that is now developed like star power later. So it's interesting to go back and see him in bit roles. Yeah,
Johnny Toronto or whatever.
I guess I was happy to hear that part about the Argonauts actually winning under his ownership. It was like, oh, I didn't actually really appreciate that. Okay. Like, our Stampeders would have lost, but whatever. Like, I'm glad John Candy had this King of Toronto moment or whatever. So that's great.
It was cool that he got the Blues Brothers to like perform it, like to try and boost morale. I thought that it was cool to have someone with connections, like promoting. Yeah, well, that wraps up Clown Murders. Did you have any other things you wanted to talk about for Aussie movies?
Oh, I guess it seems so corny to talk about Bluey as like an important Australian export, but there's merch everywhere right now. Like you go through a Costco, there's just giant Blueys that you can just bring home with you. I'm wearing a muffin shirt right now. It's their cousin. It's pretty enthusiastic character. But that show's over, right? Didn't it end a few years ago?
Yeah, I think they finished it up. I'm not fully across Bluey because I don't have kids. A lot of my mates,
there's no reason for me to like it as much, but yeah.
A lot of my mates that have kids are like secretly watching it as well. Like they're like, oh, like convincing their kids, like, don't you want to watch a few episodes of Bluey just so that they can catch up on it? So it's always good when you can get the parents in on a show, because it just shows that like I seen Jim Jeffries a few years ago, and he was talking about watching John Cleese in movies when he was a kid, and to be laughing at a movie as a kid while your parents are laughing at the same movie but for a different reason is like a testament to the writing. And I think that that's similar to Bluey. Like kids and parents can both enjoy it, even for different reasons.
Well, like mom and dad are pretty central to the thing too, and they'll have their kind of like sighs of frustration that they can't watch the game or whatever. Like there's little relatable moments in there for older folks too. I just think it's just so wholesome and charming. So I'm just enjoying seeing it every now and then.
Hell yeah.
And they have the shorts and stuff. And I played the video game, which was pretty good.
Oh, but cool.
I mean, I feel like lame just bringing up the Mad Max stuff because that's such a big cultural export from you guys. But
yeah,
I did just watch Furiosa again and loved it all over again.
Nice.
But yeah, like George Miller and his impact, you know. Or Peter Weir, like I still need to watch Picnic at Hanging Rock. That's one of those things I feel I should have seen by now.
They so my like my cousin used to live at Broken Hill, which is where Mad Max was filmed. And they have the Mad Max Museum there, which is basically just all the leftover movie shit, like in a store, like a museum style store. You just walk through behind glass cases and see
actual props
stuff from the movie. Yeah.
On screen. Yeah. That's cool.
So yeah, that's my connection to that. But yeah, I also in Thunderdome, Angry Anderson plays in that, who's like the lead singer of a band called Rose Tattoo. He's in that, and he plays at the bar that I work at every now and again. So
that's I just like how real that is to your world or whatever. It's not just like this wild thing that we saw in theaters or whatever.
No, it's I actually have a joke on stage where my family's from a place in the middle of nowhere, no one's heard of it, but it's basically, I describe it as it's the actual town that they were depicting in Mad Max. They just filmed it from the safety of Broken Hill. But like the scenes you see in Mad Max are quite regular occurrences in most central west towns. Like they're all just like red dirt, like small shops, like characters. Like you can go to any Australian pub out west and there'll be a guy sitting at the end of the bar that looks like Mick Taylor from Wolf Creek. Like,
Oh man.
and it's just a common occurrence. Like, you just look over and he'll even talk like that, you know, like, "G'day, what are you drinking?" Like one of those sort of characters. And every town's got at least one. So yeah, that's one thing that I enjoy about Australian movies, is that they do a decent job of depicting like life in rural areas when they do it. So at least there's not like a real lot of bullshit about it.
Like, I guess there is a pretty intense horror scene that came up from there. I just don't know how versed I am in it. Like, another friend of mine was kind of the expert in that at the video store I worked at. But
can we get into that just a little bit? So you're talking about working at a video store. What that ties into OK Video and how that started, right? Like, do you can you talk more about like your time at the video store and what brought it all together?
Well, that was kind of like the first job I really wanted, but it was not long for this world. This would have been when I was about 20. And I had people telling me too, just like, what do you like? There's no future in this. Like, it's about to go away. And it's like, it's what I want. It's like a library, but it's got movies. So both my friend Ryan and I had times working at like Blockbuster, VHQ for him, Rogers Video for me. These are video stores up here.
We had Blockbuster. We had Blockbuster was Video Easy, one, and Network Video was the third one, like the underdog.
Just Rogers is just like this guy Ted Rogers has a telecommunications company up here and made a video store that eventually was trying to sell cell phones instead, and that was where I got sad. But yeah, we just kind of, as a kind of COVID times project, put together a show. I'd already pitched it to another podcasting friend of mine, but I was really fixated on the ranking. Like, I was like, oh, we're gonna rank everything. We're gonna have like movies and people and foods and just put it all on a mega list.
Hell yeah.
Just weirded him out. So I changed the format and retooled it for a much more reasonable fine. We'll only compare movies to other movies of the subcategory. We're not even gonna necessarily make a whole thing. I guess I was thinking about Clown Murders in that context. This is way better than Wagons East, dude. Like, this is, this is probably gets past 3 or 4 of the movies we watched in that batch into the middle of the list a little bit.
I learned more about that movie listening to your podcast than I did watching the movie.
Which one? Like
Wagons East. Yeah, it was kind of. I just kind of didn't really absorb it too much. Like, when I was watching it, like, it seemed like you said there was like scenes where they were just like cutting old footage to just try and get it over the line.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, like it's unfortunately the thing they have to talk about in the documentary as well, or the doco, which is a more efficient way to say it. I just haven't done that. No, just that's something I've been enjoying with Australian slang, is it just seems to shorten stuff and make it more efficient. Like, I think Bluey said kindy for kindergarten. I was like, that makes way more sense. Why are we saying this cumbersome German word every time we talk about it? Just cut it off and people know. But the Wagons East's tragic story in Durango unfortunately has to be a chapter of the documentary. And oh man, that movie, that is forever the worst that he happened to appear in. Not just because it killed him, but it's like a painful watch.
For sure, like that one. Although I think Canadian Bacon came out in '95, technically.
It did, yeah. But I think he'd rapped on it already. They were just editing it and stuff.
Which probably would have been a better way to end it. Canadian Bacon was way better than. Yeah, like in my mind,
Aykroyd gets to be in it, and they have a gag, and it's a much like
better way. I think the best thing for Wagons East would just be to have not released it and put out Canadian Bacon as the last movie, and just been like, "Yep, cool." In my mind, I mean,
it's like, we have our investors or something, or we're this like. I just feel bad for everybody else involved because it's got like
Yeah.
Robert Picardo and John C. McGinley and like people I like, but they're just trapped in this awful production. So
Sure. That was
yeah.
famous not because of it, but because of what happened around it.
Yeah, immediately overshadowed by the tragedy or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And there's scenes in there, like I heard this from your podcast. I didn't actually know this. Scenes where people are crying in that they just like used. Like
Oh, like just kind of the shaken appearance of some of the actors and scenes. Like
yeah.
I think it really felt that way around the Donner Party section of the movie is kind of the most cobbled together, like shot around the fact he's not there and like body doubles and all the awful tricks. Yeah, there I forget where we picked up certain nuggets of information, but
it's it's kind of like with the Bruce Lee stuff. It's just like, yeah, we'll just like reuse the same scenes because he died in that Tower of Death movie. So they just like keep cutting to old footage of him like
try to patch more movies together. Or I had this with like Peter Sellers stuff, like the way they made another Pink Panther movie with like deleted scenes from other movies. Like there's just these weird, cringy, bad things that happen in the wake of something like that. But, yeah. John Candy, like I still like to just focus on the weird things that we do have. Like I'm gonna watch that Camp Candy animated show. I've already seen an episode.
Yeah.
You know,
and I thought it was great. And like it was good to see that a lot through that doco that a lot of the characters from SCTV broke out to be lead role in a movie at some point. So that was kind of like building a basis that he could then grow on, like, and turn into a whole movie at some point, or at least you reuse that character that he invented,
or like elaborate on a persona or something he had.
Yeah, which I thought was good.
I guess so. Yeah, you could kind of say like Johnny LaRue or something is in Harry Crumb. Like, I really like that Harry Crumb movie again. I'll just mention it again.
Yeah. Well, I think that's my favorite SCTV character. The bit where he's doing the cooking. He does like a cooking show. He's kind of like smoking a cigarette and like ashing into the food and just like really careless about the prep.
Yeah,
it's so good. And like there's a bit where he like makes something. He like just gets out like cat food and puts it in there because he ran out of meat or something. Like it's just so good. But yeah, I want to wrap on this and just so that
I'll just put a button in our show. We actually kind of concluded our show after 5 years. So we did one last kind of wrap up batch and stuff this summer. But we're still out there. Yeah, it's the OK Video Podcast. It's my friend Ryan and I just kind of going through a bunch of specific movies. I've been meaning to finish my Letterboxd list of all the movies we ever did. So that it's just in one nice visual place or whatever too. But yeah, no, I'm glad it got out there somehow. If we're terrible at one thing on our show, it's promoting it at all. Like almost we're embarrassed to ever talk about it. Or it would come up and people would be like excited about it and we wouldn't know what to do. So, you know, thanks for telling us someone was listening.
Sure. No, it was awesome. Like, honestly, I'm really glad I followed that hashtag for multiple reasons, and stumbling on your show was one of them. So yeah, that was really cool.
That's great. I'll definitely pass that to Ryan because the Instagram was his side of the socials coin or whatever on that.
Sure.
So,
yeah. But yeah, that's a wrap on the podcast. Thanks heaps for being on the show, Nathan. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch the movie and write some notes and review it with me. And completely out of the dark too. Like I get random emails from people to do podcasts, and I can sort of sort through like what's just like a chat GPT thing or whatever. And I appreciate that like you took the time to do it, because like, I mean, especially after wrapping on your show, it would be easy to just go like, oh, that chapter's kind of closed. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm still kind of out there doing current stuff with my friend Paul. The podcast has survived the night. We just did Terrifier 2. So that's a relatively more recent thing we did. And a meaner clown than we had in this movie, you know. But yeah, Harrison the clown didn't quite get the cultural zeitgeist, but it's worth looking at. So yeah. But yes, thank you again for having me.
And yeah, that wraps the episode. Thanks everyone for listening to the show, and keep your eyes out for more stuff. All my stuff's at markycomedy.com, which is my website. Until next time, peace.
Buy me a drink. Just name names. Yeah, right. Big time. Fucking thrown out a strip club with your floppy disk.
Yeah, you got a big beard, dude.
Shame for shit all day.
Me and my best friend, Marky Worthington.
Keep it simple. Count your money.
That they're not proud of.
Just give me $10.
Hey, right?
Click.
Did you hang up?
No, I just said click.